Good night, everyone. Well, I think that commercial was amazing for the topic that we're having tonight. So, welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Creative Tips. So, tonight we'll be discussing graphic designs, and we have a very, very special guest that would have had the privilege and opportunity to sit under for a while. Her name is Miss Tamesha Cash. Tamesha Cash, um, welcome to our episode of Creative Tips.
Thank you for having me.
Awesome.
Such an honor to be here.
Yes, I'm definitely happy to see you, especially with this particular platform. It's one that's specifically designed and catered for creatives in all walks of life, whether it be branding, graphics designs like tonight, and all things creatives. So I do have a question. Actually, I have a few questions for you, but the first question would be just to get the audience to know you a little bit more. So I want to know what first inspired you to do graphic designs, and for how many years were you doing it?
Okay. I started graphic design, I think like in 2000. I was working at an insurance company as a receptionist and just to, I guess, make best use of my time on the switchboard. I just started playing with the computer and started playing with graphics. And so it started there. So I'm really self-taught, never went to school for graphics. And so as I started playing with the computer, then HR started asking me to do things. And it just ventured out that eventually people started to ask me to do things for them. So I guess it's just a natural gift that I tapped into.
Okay, that's perfect. Um, okay, so I know for me, I'm a huge fan of Dr. Matthew Stevenson, and he has some phenomenal graphics. And additionally, there has been a few like album covers that I saw that just really made me say, I wish I could do that. What was your thing? What is the thing that you would say would have been the design or the inspiration, I guess, behind you actually getting into it? I know you said you kind of did it self-taught, but is there a particular photo, or were there a bunch or a few photos that you would have seen that just piqued your interest?
I think for me with graphic design, because even though I was doing it for people, doing it free, um, at first I wasn't confident in the fact that there were graphics that I saw that I really liked, and I didn't have an idea of how to do that, especially Photoshop. And so I used the platforms that I knew, whether it was starting off with Publisher, and there's another program I started with, I don't remember the name of it. And so eventually I put down graphic design because I was like, everyone doing these wonderful looking flyers, and I'm not getting to that level that I want to get. But what I realized is you have to find that market for you. And so when I started to realize that there were persons who had graphics that, or there was an area of graphics that I could develop to give to persons to profit from, I tapped into that. So at the same time, on a day to day, because I have an eye for graphics, when I'm searching through social media and I find things that I may be able to gain inspiration from, I save those, whether it be to be able to create a layout based on similar to what they're doing, or that graphic designer who may be working in Photoshop, because I work mostly in Canva. And some things I do in Photoshop, but I'm not the one who you'll see doing a disco flyer, party flyer. So it's more that. So what I've learned also with it is when you find your market. So most of the persons that I deal with are in professionals. So then I was able to tie it on that market and gain confidence in that area. So you have persons who are confident in different areas of graphic design that stands out to them. And so they're able to develop that area greater than someone else. And so for me, I gain inspiration from different graphic designers, different flyers that I see, and also a book that I was reading with graphic designers. And a question was asked in the book was, where do you gain inspiration from as graphic designers? And you would be amazed the amount of graphic designers who said they gain inspiration from other graphic designers. So whereas people would think, oh, you're copying someone or mimicking, no, you're actually gaining inspiration to design. So there's even something lately that I started saying that design begins with inspiration. Like you don't have to necessarily, there are times when you could design from scratch, and then there's sometimes where you can gain an idea to start from. But whoever does
That's good.
Dr. Matthew Stevenson graphics does an awesome job. I do love
Phenomenal job, yes. So you would have mentioned you called off a list of apps or websites or for different things that we could actually use for to do graphic designs. Let's just say that a beginner is on here and they're listening. Which apps would you suggest to work with for the beginner? For something that isn't too complicated, isn't too complex, and then maybe they can graduate into something a little bit later. So maybe you could give us two and just tell us a little bit about them, as brief as you
Okay.
can.
Actually, I can only give you on Canva. There are some
Mm,
graphic that you can use free apps. I don't follow all of those different apps. I've seen different names and I can't really think of the names right now, but I've seen a lot of free apps that you can use. And there's one that is very close to Photoshop, but it seemed to be much easier. I tried it once, basically. Um, but I don't remember the name of it. It starts with a P. I really don't remember the name. But I'd say Canva is an awesome design tool for persons just starting out, because it has a lot of features and they're constantly updating, getting to the place where
yeah.
they're trying to, I guess, build that platform just like if someone was using Photoshop. So there are qualities now you can use, remove background in Photoshop before you couldn't use that before. There are a lot of great templates you could use as inspiration. You could also design from scratch. So they're bringing on a lot of different things in Canva for you to be able to create awesome graphics. And a lot of persons are using it even in the in corporate world. A lot of persons
Yeah.
are reverting to Canva because it's very easy compared to Photoshop. I remember the first time I tried Photoshop, I don't even think I was able to get a picture on the paper for hours. So Canva is much easier for beginners. So I would direct anyone who wants to learn graphics to start there, because even when I look over the graphics that I first started in Canva to now what I'm doing today, some persons are amazed, like, you really did that in Canva? Yeah. So it's a good tool, but I really cannot speak for the other platforms.
That's no problem. So this is kind of a personal question, right? So I guess most of my work I like kind of dark stuff because they add the mystery to a design, right? What would you suggest for persons to or what way would you suggest persons get into adding more colors, because you want to be a little bit more versatile, because while the dark can be good and mysterious for like let's say a worship event, you want to cater to other persons too. You don't want to just market it specifically for a worship event that may be coming up. What tip could you give me there?
Okay, what you can do, because remember now, we're not just designing for ourselves. When you design for yourself, that's where you're putting yourself in the box. You actually have to design for your clients because you are the solution. So it's not where you're just
Mm,
giving people what you like. You have to give people what they like. So sometimes
yeah.
you find to you something can look good, and then you present it to a client, and they be like, that's not the look I'm going for. So you have to learn that is, I think that's key. When you learn that you're not designing for you, it would help you to venture out to create other things. And so there are different websites that you could use that can help you with colors, because a lot of times persons are blind to colors.
Mhm.
You get a client and you be like, what color you want? Give me pink, blue, red. They always come with the basics. And so, in order for you to create that look, there are websites that you could go on that have color pilots. And today I was using one called, I think it was Coolers or Colors.
Mhm.
And so they had a lot of different colors combination that worked well. And I was able to put together something very nice today, with different colors. So when you find that you're stuck in colors, it's good to look at those websites to help you to find other colors to design with. And so even
That's perfect.
like how we talk about looking at other person's design. So probably like how you say you like to create dark. So you have to look at what people are actually producing now. What are graphic designers producing? That look that they're
Mm,
going. then also what I tend to do is if I take on a client, I tend to go to their page, study their graphics, what they had previously or whoever was doing the graphics for them to get a feel of their liking. So it's not
Mm,
where
that's good.
I'm actually coming to you with what I like. I'm looking at what you like. I find out what it is that you like, and then I create from there. So you're not staying at that spot. But at the same time, as a graphic designer, there are areas that you probably you're key to, and a client would like that based on how you design. So you may design a certain way, like in more dark colors, and that mind you, there could be an audience out there for you for those dark colors.
Hmm.
So it's all based on the clients that you're attracting. That's what's going to come back to. And most of the time, too, you'll find that what it is the clients see that they like, those are going to be the people who are attracted to you. So it's not basically from a place of saying, oh, I had to get away from all the dark colors or whatever. That might be your look and your style. And so your clients are attracted to that. But at the same time, there will be clients who probably come to you and don't want that actual dark look. And so that's where you have to venture out with the colors.
Hmm. Okay, so you did mention us dealing with our clients, but I have a kind of touchy question here. How do you, like, personally, how do you deal with, let's just say you created something and you think your work is phenomenal, you think your work is grand, and I mean this is probably the best you think that you've ever done. You presented it to a client and they say, I don't like it. How do you deal with that? And what advice would you give for the beginner, for the person that would have now had their first client and their first client kind of denied their work or turned it down? How did you deal with that in that moment?
Okay, so let me give a this isn't with graphic design, but this is something else. When I first came out of school, I took up nails, and
Hmm.
my teacher, my instructor, awesome, awesome, awesome teacher, and she was very confident in me. I think she was going away, or she was having a procedure done, and she asked me to sit in, but I wasn't confident in the fact that I could sit in and take on her clients. But she was
Mm.
confident that I could do it, and she gave me one of her clients. And let me tell you, that woman criticized my work to the T. And she was like,
Oh,
I don't
wow.
like this. I don't like this. And that broke my heart. Like literally, even though the teacher saw my potential, like someone may see your potential, and then this one person come there and just knock you out of your seat. Like, no, you're not the bomb. You don't have it. You need to go back to something else. And can I tell you that that crushed my spirit for years? I was not confident, even though I would do people's nails and people would be like, you did an awesome job.
Mm.
That broke my confidence. But now I'm to the place with graphic design where if a client comes to me and they don't like something, I just take a break from it. I pull back from it from a moment and then go back at it because I have in my mind that I'm going after something. So it's not about people talking me out of what it is that I'm doing. I'm confident to the fact now that I can do this. And so
Yeah, that's good.
when you're confident in what it is that you're doing and you know this is your bread and butter, you know you have some people who tell you you could do it. You have someone you believe you could do it. It don't matter what people say. Just take a break from it and come back. Or even go and find some inspiration or ask them, okay, so what is it you want me to change? Is it the colors, the layout, or tell me what it is you're going for? Because
Mm.
it could cause you to crush and be like, okay, I'm not doing this because that one person told me it's not good. And then you have some client and this is something that the nail teacher also told me. She said, Tamesha, she said, I have been in nails for, I think it was like well over 20 years. She said to me, she said, and still to this day, I have clients who come and they'll tell me they don't like it. And I think she's awesome. So we have to stop allowing that one person to speak into us to make us feel like we can't.
Mm.
Because let me tell you something today, something I was pondering on. You are valuable. You were placed in the earth to do something, and what you could do, somebody can do. And first of all,
Yeah.
if I ain't gonna do a graphic, they wouldn't come to you. So you give them your best that you can do. And if you find it get to the place where you've fixed it, you've adjusted, and they still don't get it, be like, okay, obviously I'm not able to satisfy you. I would gladly offer you a refund and just walk away from that client and start over because everyone is not for you. And that's what
Yeah.
I'm learning. Everyone is not for you. And it's okay to say, you know what, me and you, our design style is different. So you don't have a
Hmm.
frustration with what I'm doing right now. So it's okay to walk away. And that's all honesty. All of
Okay,
it.
I really love that. Okay, so we're just gonna take a quick break. We wanna play our commercial for you guys, and we will be right back with more questions. Also for the audience, if you guys have any questions, you are welcome to pose them. This is gonna be the moment that we're gonna answer some from you guys as well.
That's exactly what I was trying to explain to them, but nobody was listening to me. You understand what I'm saying, right, Mom? Because
Oh
this
my
day and
gosh,
age,
this
like
woman
how
could
things
talk
work,
me.
Like, only God can help us now. Only God can help us. What that is? Oh, this is the Judah Experience app. You get updates on all of their events and their previous recordings of events like the Hub, Creative Tips, Harping Bowl, and even President's Session. You can even put in your prayer requests on this app. So how you just get that app? Well, if you're on Android, all you have to do is go through your Google Play Store app and download the Judah Experience app. And if you're on Apple, then you have to download the church app, and then you can search for Judah Experience there under churches. Yeah, it's really awesome.
Get connected, stay connected, and get plugged into the roar with Judah.
Okay, well, we're back. So I wanted to dive in a little bit more, get kind of personal. But before I get there, I want to ask a particular question. This is about pricing, right? For the new graphic designer, right? More than likely, they're not going to feel the most confident about their work, and they're going to look at everybody else and be like, this one is good. But how then would you advise that person to price themselves based on the worth of their work?
Okay, so I won't give you a figure to go with when it comes to pricing, but what I'd say is search the market to see what people are pricing. So, for
Mm,
instance, 98% of my clients are in the US. So that means I'm not basing my price on what is here in the Bahamas. I have to search the internet to find out what are American persons paying for graphic design and then go from there. Also, what I've come to realize, also when it comes to pricing, there are some clients who will pay you a little. They
mm,
don't want to pay you much. So for me, you wouldn't find on my website where I have a price list because some clients I can give them a figure and whatever I put before them, they will pay. And then there are some clients who will question the amount that I give them. But at the same
mm,
time, I think when we do pricing, you have to do it based on your time, your experience. Don't shortcut yourself. If you set in your mind that this is what I want, put it out there because you'll be amazed who will actually pay you for it. And I try people. I put the price there, and I have clients who will pay me very. I wouldn't say much persons have questioned a price. They have whatever I put there. They just pay the invoice. But pricing all has to do with you and your confidence. That's how I see it. So when I first started, also I was at a place of I'm not sure people want to pay me this because especially with me dealing with US clients, you have Fiverr. And Fiverr, that's low cost. And so I felt like that was like a competition right there. Like, okay, these American people can go to anybody to do graphics for them at a low
yeah.
cost Fiverr. So why are they gonna pay me this certain amount for a graphic? So I gave the figure, and then after a while I was like, you know what, I don't think this is enough. When it came to my time, when it came to the revisions and so forth, I was like, no, I need more. And so I started raising the price. And now I'm confident in the price that I am charging for it. But that
That's
confidence
perfect.
of pricing comes totally from how confident you are in yourself. And yes,
Mm,
at the beginning when we start to do stuff, we're never confident to the fact that we're able to get what it is we want. But I think it all comes to value in terms of what you believe about yourself. Do you believe that
yeah.
you are worth this amount? And if that's the price that you set, you go for that, because when you undercharge and you charge too little, you're going to get a lot of clients. And at the same time, you're tiring out yourself, because here it is now. If you're charging a small amount and everybody flocking to you because of the price, you have a lot of clients, but you're tired because you have to produce all these clients' graphics. But at the end of the day, are
Yeah.
you meeting your financial goals? And also another key factor that you want to take in when it comes to pricing, when you do pricing, you want to look at, okay, what is my financial goal at the end of the month or monthly? How much money do I need to live on, to pay my bills, to
Mm,
run this business? Those are key factors. So before you just jump up and set prices, you want to take into consideration how much money that do I need to run my business, so
hmm.
that I'm able at the end of the month, after all the work I've done, I'm able to say I made a profit. Because in the beginning, that was the issue what I had also, when I found that I had a lot of clients coming to me, but at the end of the day, it was like the numbers wasn't adding up to me with all the work that I was doing. So then that meant I had to raise the cost.
Yeah, I totally agree. I know this particular season, this time in life is affecting most persons due to COVID-19 with the pandemic. How has this personally affected you? And is there any advice that you could give for persons, because most persons aren't having that much events. Yeah, persons may be getting into the virtual, but there's still some persons that wasn't. What advice or what tip could you give to persons, just are going through the storm pretty much with this season with not having as much clients as they used to?
Okay, well, actually, for me, I started this business in COVID, like January, February of last year, and I
Mhm.
can say I did very well, profit wise. I actually, a lot of persons don't know, but I've taken the leap, and as of next month, I'll be a full time entrepreneur, and I'm that
Wow.
confident
Wow.
in the fact that God has placed a gift in me, and I'm gonna go and use the gift. But at the same time, you have to find areas of whether it be, so sometimes you may just have to expand your service, what it is that you're offering, so that you're not boxed in to say, okay, I do graphics, but now here it is. It feel like a slow period, people not having events or whatever. That could be the time where maybe you could start getting clients to do branding with you. So here it is now, when the market open up and people are having events, you would have already helped those persons to brand, whether it be to update their Facebook cover, have all their
Mhm.
workbooks together. So you now have to market yourself to the place of people coming to get things from you. And at the same time, because it's a saturated market, people may not be having events, but at the same time, there are different graphics that persons may need. In terms of, today I posted some graphics that I'm doing for a client. Every week he gets social media templates with quotes on it. So here it is. What he's doing with those, he's keeping himself before people, maybe for when he's ready to have an event.
Yeah.
So there are different forms of graphics that can be used. So you can create educational graphics for your clients where they're using those graphics to inform. So it's a matter of venturing out of the box. So if you're someone who's just creating graphics now, you probably, because there are no functions, you need to expand on what type of graphics you can create for your clients.
Mhm. Okay, well, I do see one question in the audience. I just want to take that before we end. And that question is, do you recommend charging for changes?
For me, I don't charge for changes, actually. I think it's probably because I'm to the place with my clients where there are not a lot of major changes. So I'm not dealing
Mhm.
with persons who have me changing 10 times. No, I'm finding
Mm,
that, especially when it's after I've established a relationship with that client, consistently getting graphics. So because I've now learned their style, is less changes for us. Yes, when you just take on a client, there may be a lot of changes. But at the same time, if that person is attracted to you and they already see your design style, I don't think
yeah.
that there would be major changes. Now, also with the changes, that was something that I was considering putting into place, um, because you do have some clients who could be difficult and they will have you keep making changes over and over and over. And even if you was to put a period, like to say, okay, if I already gave you this graphic, you approve it, and then now you come back a week later to say, oh, you didn't
Mhm.
launch it right
You
away, and
change
now
your mind.
okay, that's where I'm going to charge you for it. If we already closed the job and now you want to say, okay, I think I want to change the word or the date, I will charge you for that. Yeah. But as
Mhm.
long as the graphic, we're still in that phase of designing, I don't charge for the changes.
Okay.
So sometimes I
Well,
think that's a personal decision also. Sorry, I think that's a personal decision in
yeah.
that with a saturated market too of graphic designers. So sometimes you want to make yourself unique in certain areas. And sometimes it's not all about that one extra $10 or $15 for revisions. Because here it is, your good customer service could be the key for your client to refer you to someone else. And
Yeah.
I've actually built my business on referrals. I very rarely
Oh, wow.
advertise. And so most of my referrals is coming just from people liking the experience because with me, I believe design or what I'm doing is all about experience. It's not just about an exchange of a product and dollars. It's literally an experience that I'm offering you. And so some things I just look beyond and run with that. Sometimes I could offer a client if I'm delaying time, I would offer a client a free graphic. Like if I knew I was behind on time,
Hmm.
because I know that client is coming back. I know they will refer someone. So it's like a give and take situation for me.
Mm. And you make wise assessments as well.
Yes. Yes.
Well, I do want to thank you so much for coming in and stopping by. Just before we close, is there any quick tip that you may want to leave with any creatives out there for any graphic designs or any persons doing visuals or just even persons that may decorate, you know? Is there any tips that you'd like to leave us with?
I think my tip for this season is be confident in who you are. Go after your dreams, set your vision, set your mission, know your purpose, know that you are destined for greatness and whatever God placed in you, the world needs it. You're a solution to the world. And so be confident in that.
Or you preaching tonight? Thank you so much, Mrs. Tamesha
Thank you
Cash.
for having me.
Absolute pleasure having you, and we hope that again in the future that we could bring you right back. It was phenomenal. So Tamesha Cash, everyone.
Thank you.